Let's talk about wrestling for a minute. And one of my most favorite matches that I've ever seen, ever. And this was kind of a history match, even when I watched it, because I never watched it live, because I didn't get into wrestling. I've never been like really big into wrestling, but like there have been like a few matches where I was like, wow, this is like some pretty dynamic stuff. And you could tell that this wrestling match was like, whoa, like this is some really good wrestling. Um, but the safety standards for wrestling have gotten a lot better since this match. Um, so there was a Hell in a Cell episode, um, the King of the Ring, match between Undertaker and Mankind. So the cell was not put together very well because they're crawling on top of the Hell in a Cell, and the cage is falling apart. And you can tell. I'm gonna. I took a video. I took a shot of the video. So they're falling apart. They're falling. They're so the cell is not put together solidly. Like you don't see matches where the cage is not put together like that anymore. Like it's pretty sturdy these days. So they didn't reinforce it very well for them to crawl on top of it. So that's the first thing. But the second thing is that they didn't plan to when he threw him when Undertaker threw Mick Foley off the top of the match, they didn't plan for the table to break underneath him. So it's just a regular table. Like it's just a regular table that he's falling on at at that height, which is insane to me that they would do that. So here he is breaking underneath this table, and like so his whole face gets all messed up. I think they said his cheek his teeth went through his cheek or something. Like he gets all messed up during this match. Like he gets like some damage. I think he needs stitches because of his match. He gets really torn up because of this match. Like I understand that wrestling is fake for the most part, but the safety standards of this wrestling match were abhorrent. And so that's the reason why it's so dynamic, is because the amount of reality that happens in this episode um makes it so that the danger involved between the two is high. And so the blood that's happening, because the people in the audience have a bloodlust, and you can tell the bloodlust from the people in the audience. But this episode is so good in that the wrestling has this more sense of like breaking down the fakeness of the wrestling match, because the danger feels more present and more real in this match than other matches. Like the presence of the reality of, oh my god, he really could get hurt, and this is very scary. Like that breaking down of the barrier between this is a fake match and oh my god, he really could die. And so it's such a fine line, but in this match it's so present, and it's something that's not achieved very often. And so usually you have to suspend your disbelief and just be like, oh, this is a really fun show, I'm having a really good time, and understand that it's going to be fake, and that you have to realize that it's fake and just play along and enjoy the story and all of that. But I was watching boxing, and I think you get that same kind of present danger of where the blood, the amount of blood loss, because I was watching the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight, and there was a fight between the two women, and just the amount of blood loss, it's that same sort of thing where you just get that present of, wow, they're really beating the crap out of each other. This is really happening. Like, this is something that is intense, and this is a really brutal match, which makes it seem like the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight wasn't as good as the matches leading up to Jake Paul Mike Tyson. So that's the kind of thing, is like you get Undertaker and Mankind, and that match is like, whoa, up there, like really intense, and then other matches just can't reach that level because the perceived danger is just so intense. Does that make sense? So I was like thinking about it. Let me get some water so I can post this on my water channel. But I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about like the way that most people perceive wrestling, and the reason why wrestling is considered so good is because when something is considered like a legendary wrestling match, and why people go for those legendary wrestling matches is because that perceived danger as opposed to reality, it's like it breaks down, and like the idea that they actually could get hurt, like it shows. And doing small things to make it seem like they actually could get hurt makes it so that the perception of danger is more present.